Hello everyone, welcome to Redbus US channel. In this video, we'll look at the H1B visa 2020 lottery results details. We'll look at a sample H1B selection notice and we'll look at what we have got so far from users. So this is what we'll cover in this video. We'll look at the details, what's the official release details yet, and we'll look at what it means, and we'll look at common FAQs. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, do subscribe for getting regular updates. So firstly, the results are out, lottery results are out. It's a weekend, right? So I mean, like, you don't see, that's why not a lot of activity. But still, the update is actually not from the official US CS website. It is more from users in our community, like in social media groups, Facebook, Telegram, and WhatsApp. So we have a large community who have updated that they've got selection notices for FY 2022 season, and their attorneys have informed them. For some of them, they're able to get it from their employers, and but of course many of them are not able to actually get the details because offices are closed. So that's why the details that we see are kind of not complete, I would say. And it includes both regular cap as well as master's cap, because some people are telling we're only seeing master's cap. It's not necessarily true. We have got results from both of these cap applicants. Now there is no official news release yet on USA's website. So if somebody is going to look good of USA's website, you will find nothing. So this is what you actually will find. This is as of today morning, 11 a.m. EST. There is nothing there. In fact, the results have been coming in since yesterday, almost for 24 hours now. We've been seeing a lot of results, but there is no official press release. The reason for this is it's just the weekend, right? I guess. But still, they do this, and this is not new. They have done this in the past many years as well. So we have seen this. So so this is normal. So there is nothing to be concerned that, okay, why haven't they released all of these things? So this is very normal. In the last few years we've seen this. Now in terms of there are two things. One is submission, and second one is the the result, right? So usually many of the employers do not share the submission confirmation, but this is how it actually looks, right? So you can ask your employer to give the submission confirmation. They can actually print this out. It shows the details of the company. It shows your details as the applicant, and when did they submit, and all sorts of things. So this is what you can ask, but again, it's up to the company to share this or not. Only few companies share these details, but if you ask them, if they're open to share, they can share this. So the reason some of them may not share is there are some company related information in this. That's why they may or may not share this information. Okay, this is the step number one, and this is where after you submit, this is what you get. And after your submission is done, and this is when the lottery runs, so you see statuses like these: selected, not selected, denied, and invalidated payment, and submitted. So these are the statuses that USA typically has, right? But now most of the statuses that you see will be either selected or submitted. Denied is also possible, but not selected is the only one that you may not see now, because they usually retain these registrations. So right now, either it's a selected or submitted, and if your fee has failed, then you would get this, or if there was a duplicate petition, then you would see this denied. So this is how you would see them. And now, if let's say you're selected, right, and you would see the selected status, and you need to click on view notice. Again, this is all done by the employer, not by the H1B applicant. So if you have you don't have access to this, first of all. So either your attorney or your employer has to look at this. Let's say you're selected, and they would go and click on this view notice. That's when they would see this H1B 2022 selection notice. And this is how it looks, as you can see on the screen. So on the top, this firstly is no different from last year. Most of it is same. We'll look at the specifics. But at the top, you see this beneficiary confirmation number. So this is starts with the 2022, and there is a big, alphanumeric number after that. And also you have a case type of H1B-R, H1B registration. That's what it says. And after that, its receive date is when it was submitted, and notice date is when it was generated. So this is when the results actually happened. And here will be the details of the person who submitted it, or the company name, and the beneficiary is where you would see the your applicant actually. If you're the applicant, you would see your name here, and the notice type is registration selection. And other differences that you see are you can see that it's a FY22 fiscal year 2022 selection notice, and you can see all the company details and everything, right? And it tells it's for FY22 numerical cap projection. And again, you will see all the details of the company and the confirmation number and all sorts of things. You'll see the all of these details in the middle as well. One important thing to note is it says that based on this selected registration, your company is eligible to file a corresponding H1B between April 1st and June 30th of the following location. So the duration is very important. This is same as before. You get 90 days, so that's same. And the service center will be already given by the system actually. So this is to manage the load. So you can only send to this location. You can't send it to any other location. Yeah. And they say that it's very valid only for this fiscal year and only for this company. So there is no way you can transfer this to another company or anything. So there is nothing called H1B transfer here yet. Other than that, most of the details are pretty standard details. So this is how it would look, and this is what is online generated online. Yeah. Now, in terms of what's the difference between last year versus this year, in addition to the dates and everything, so they added this extra piece of sentence telling that make sure that any information provided during the registration process matches with the information provided. If it doesn't match, they need to provide an explanation with your petition and supporting documentation. So the reason they added this is because sometimes your passport expires and you need to submit a new passport, or the person did not have passport. So any of these kind of situations, or your name there is a name mismatch, or people corrected their passports. So any of these kind of details, there is some chance people might have played with the system. So that's why they added that they will actually deny it if they do not have the same exact details. So this is the additional step they've added. But other than that, most of that is pretty much same. There is no difference from last year. Now, in terms of let's look at some common FAQs, right? So this is something that many users have asked, right? Now can I check the status of my H1B petition, or H1B registration as an employer applicant, right? Sadly no, because the reason is the H1B registration is actually submitted in the online system, in the USS online system, by the employer or the attorney, and it's in fact signed by the employer. So only they can log into the system and they can check. So this is not like H1B petition where you get a case number and you can actually track it online. So the case number that they use, or the beneficiary number that starts with a 2022 is just for internal tracking and for random selection. You can't do anything with it. So that number means nothing for you as an applicant. So the only way you can get the details is you talk to your employer or your attorney and get the details. So the second one is it a physical copy? No, you won't get any physical copy. It's completely electronic. So you'll get only electronic copy. Now, the biggest question everybody asks, okay, I haven't heard anything yet, am I not selected? So, there is no straightforward answer to this, because, usually they don't really come, in one shot, people, either it could be, they trickle down slowly, or I don't know how the system works, frankly, but people start to report, these selection notices up until March 31st. I've seen last year, some users even selected, on March 31st or in March 30th. So usually you should be able to see most of them in the first couple of days, but after that the hope is less. But nevertheless, I would suggest you wait until March 31st. That's the official end date, and that is when, if you do not hear anything until then you are not selected in the first round. That does not mean that your hope is done. Last year we had second round of H1B lottery that happened in August, but this year we don't know how it will pan out. But again, usually it doesn't happen. Last year was the first time they did second round, so we'll have to wait and see how this year pans out. But most of the time, if you don't get selected in the first time, the odds are very, very low. So you need to plan for your backup options. Now, what is this big beneficiary confirmation number? As I said, this is only for USA's tracking, and there is nothing you can do with it. Now, the other important thing, if you're an OPT, if you're an F1 student in OPT and you get selected in lottery, does it mean you get cap gap extension? No, you do not get that, because this is just a registration selection. You actually need a physical receipt notice or a receipt notice from the USCIS to make sure that your cap gap comes in for you, right? So if your OPT is expiring soon, the first thing you need to do is you need to get your OPT cap gap. You need to get your petition filed so that you can actually leverage the OPT cap gap, so you don't get anything automatic. So plan for that. So that's it, folks. Again, we will update you once there are no real numbers released yet on how many filings were done. So we don't have any of the data because the USCIS has not done any announcement. So usually they do it on March 31st or April 1st, around those days, right? So stay tuned we'll keep you posted on how everything goes. Again, thank you for watching. Do subscribe for getting regular updates.